Hi there, I'm Jenny Marlowe. I'm the head of content for Commerce Next, and on behalf of the entire Commerce Next team, welcome to today's webinar. Today is Tuesday, November 18th, 2025, and the topic is, do you still need a website if ChatGPT does the shopping? Today's experts are Sunny Jiang. She is the CEO of iBuyDirect. We have Anne-Marie Ippoliti from SVP Digital Commerce, Consumer Marketing, and Global Analytics at Michael Kors. We have Hamed Arafian, VP co-founder at Max Aroma, and Mike De La Cruz, president at iAdvise. So a huge thank you to iAdvise for sponsoring today's broadcast. We cannot bring these webinars to you without the support of our sponsor partners. And a special shout out to Megan Hibbard for all of her hard work leading up to this. Huge thank you to all the Commerce Next staff. We have Robert and Alexa, Corey, Alan, Tracy, Scott, and Veronica all off screen helping to make this webinar a success. And of course, thank you to you, our audience, for being with us today. I am so excited to share the 2026 Commerce Next Growth Show, which is taking place June 23rd and 24th in New York City. This is going to be an amazing show. We've got over 2,700 guests, 150 speakers, really great takeaways. Corey's going to drop the link to register for the growth show in the chat, so keep an eye out for it there. And if you register by December 1st, you can unlock special perks. We have our priority packs, which includes Uber credits to travel to and from the venue. We have speaker meet and greets. We have early access to brand giveaways. We have 2-for-1 tickets and so much more. So I hope that you register soon. It's also that time of year to join us for our holiday parties. We have a save the date for New York, December 9th, and Los Angeles on December 11th. I'm going to be hosting that one, so I hope you come. It's going to be great holiday fun, and it's a great way to give back. We have a charity raffle from benefiting St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Corey's going to drop the links to apply to attend in the chat. Be sure to sign up. We'd love to see you there. If you've missed any of our past webinars or the recent growth show, you can find everything on YouTube. We have more than 500 videos covering all topics digital commerce, and it's a great resource. And again, Corey's going to put that in the chat. So a few housekeeping notes. One, we are recording the webinar, so if you miss anything, don't worry, we'll send you a link or you can find it on YouTube. And then for those of you who are new, I'm going to go through just a minute to show you how this webinar works. So this is really important because we want you to break the fourth wall here. We want you to engage, and this is how you do it. There's going to be 4 tabs in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. You have the chat, the Q&A, the polls, and the handouts. Please use the chat tab when you want to communicate with other attendees. You can shout your name, where you're from, offer a shout out to the speakers there. We have the polls tab, and that's where you can participate in the audience polls, and we'll review the final results as we close the polling. We have the handouts tab where you can find an augmented version of today's presentation for you to download. And then the absolute most powerful tool at your disposal is the Q&A tab. We very much want you to be an active part of the webinar. And so as the moderator, I may have missed something. If I'm not asking the important questions that you want to have answered, please help me out. Put them in the Q&A, and I'm going to read them to our panelists. This is an amazing opportunity for you to connect and get answers from these thought leaders in real time. So remember, if you don't have a specific question, you can even upvote other audience questions, and this helps us prioritize which questions to present to the panel by letting us know which is the most important to our audience. And lastly, if you are watching this on replay, please note that the handouts are available. You can click the highlighted document icon at the bottom of the video player. And now for the moment you've been waiting for, where we actually dive into the topic at hand. Mike De La Cruz, president of iAdvise. Welcome back, Mike. Nice to see you.
All right. Thank you, Jenny. Welcome, everybody. Hi, I'm Mike De La Cruz, and I'm president at iAdvise. We're happy to be the sponsor for today's discussion. Do you still need a website? So we're going to talk a lot about AI today, but we're also going to talk about something important. It's a new user journey. And the questions we're going to dive into are, will consumers decide to delegate? Will they delegate discovery, decisions, purchase to the AI? Will AI and these AI assistants actually take it all the way from search through purchase, right? And so we promise to cut through the noise, help you focus on what matters. So a few weeks ago, our feed blew up. with an announcement from ChatGPT that instant checkout is available first for Etsy users, soon for many more, many more. And this is important because as consumers, we started to think about, we started to react to this as consumers. Wow, this could be instant, this could be frictionless, this could be so much more convenient. Will people still go to websites if you could do all of this in ChatGPT, right? And so that's really the question. And what I would say is there's a lot of data that says that we are right to be thinking about this and thinking about the role of the brand, moving forward. First is that AI traffic is exploding. So no matter how you look at it, there's a lot of data on how fast this is happening in our world of shopping and commerce. This is some data on the left from Adobe, where they took a look at 1 trillion website visits. And of course, they found tremendous growth, yes, on a small base, 47 times in terms of growth year over year in AI-driven visits. That's from July to July, July 2024 to July 2025. You'll see different numbers, 7 times, 11 times, depending on the platform and depending on the time window that we're analyzing. But it's growing very fast, and we all know that. Now, the other side of this is that traffic still feels invisible. So I have on here 1% of all traffic. You won't find great sources on this, definitive sources on this. But anecdotally, talking to our customers that are e-commerce companies around the world, we find anywhere between 0.2% and 2% of the traffic already coming from AI. Okay. The point that I want to make here is that a lot of big transformations start this way, a small base, exploding growth until it's a big base. However, I would say that traffic reports will hide a more seismic shift that's occurring. What we see is there's something more to AI and AI assistance than a traffic source and a referrer. What's happening is that, what we really need to take a look at is where are people starting the journey? What is influencing them in their user journey, in their purchase journey? And here we have a recent report, I think published yesterday or 2 days ago, from Bain & Company. They surveyed consumers and asked them, where they're going to start their online holiday shopping, not where the last click might be, right? Before going to a website to purchase. And here we see a different story. So first, I want you guys to notice that if you take ChatGPT and then you take other general chatbots like Perplexity, and you add them all up, this is about 21% is what they found, from the survey. So that's a far cry from the 1% we just took a look at. But we've got to go deeper than that, because if you took a look at all these sources, you find that there is an AI revolution occurring in each of them. If you take Amazon, which is at the top of this list in the survey, there's a lot of news and a lot of data around Rufus, which is their AI assistant. Most recently being on track to deliver 10 billion in sales for Amazon. You'll find, when you go to Walmart or some other retailer, you'll find Sparky or another AI assistant that's gaining ground. Of course, we all know with Google, what's happening with AI overviews, taking away our clicks, and you find Gemini behind all of that, powering a lot more of the decision making. And you can go down this list and you'll find an AI revolution everywhere. So I do think that there's something much more than the traffic report. What's happening is that there is a fundamentally new customer journey that we all have to plan for. And it's going away from this browse and click and browse and hope, is what I like to say. And it's definitely an era where customers are saying, shop for me. Now, that could be find something for me. That could be help me decide. That may be buy something for me as well. So we're going to see how that unfold over the next year. But definitely what's behind all this is a new shopping journey and a new customer journey around shop for me. And so, with that, what's really the opportunity for brands that are listening to this? Look, the brands have an opening, okay? there's a real opening here. So what this survey here shows is the percentage of shoppers who say they trust an AI source to handle the entire shopping experience. This is from Bain. And of course, there's 51% that don't trust AI yet for the whole shopping experience. That includes purchase. But what you find is that shoppers are 3 times more trusting of retail-owned AI tools than other platforms. And so that's really, really the opportunity here. And the answer to the question of do you still need a website will have to do with how you can capitalize on this opportunity, this opening. Okay. So what we do see working with e-commerce companies and direct-to-consumer brands worldwide is that it's a bit of a back to basics moment. How can brands leverage this and capitalize on the AI opportunity and become the trusted guide in the shop for me era? And it does come down to a few things that are like convenience. Can you actually allow shoppers to maybe upload a picture or just tell you what they want? It's about confidence, building that confidence as they go through comparisons, and then being very focused on helping them get to end goal, which is conversion. Okay. So there is a new shopping journey that is evolving. It's the shop for me journey. And what we see is a tremendous opportunity for brands to participate in that, to lead in that. And this notion that maybe AI is getting way beyond search and could essentially be your new storefront. Okay, so this is my contact information. Looking forward to the rest of the panel. We've got a lot in store for you guys. Let's get started.
Thanks so much, Mike. That was really interesting with the Bain data. Just thinking about like that 51% of people don't trust AI now, but I feel like every day that's changing. So the data is going to change just, in a couple of months from now, it might be very different, right?
Yeah. There's a nuance there, which is to do the entire shopping experience. So we're going to find a lot of more people trust it for discovery. And then, down the line, what about purchase?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I think I'm going to have Corey bring up the polls now. Let's queue up the first poll. All right, so as AI agents take on more shopping decisions, what role will brand websites play in the next 3 to 5 years? So please select one. Is it a primary destination, still central for brand experience, validation, and conversion? Is it a shared destination, important but increasingly complemented by AI-driven discovery and off-site checkout? A specialized destination used mainly for deeper research, service, or high consideration purchases. D, a lightweight destination needed but primarily as an authoritative data source rather than the main shopping hub. Or E, I'm just unsure. Most of you said that it's going to be a shared destination, important but increasingly complemented by AI discovery and offsite checkout. So I think everybody is kind of aligned on that question. All right, so let's pull up question number 2. What is the biggest challenge your brand faces in preparing for AI-driven commerce? Select one. Structuring product data and metadata for AI discoverability. B, maintaining consistent brand storytelling across platforms. C, optimizing the checkout experience for offsite AI purchases. D, measuring and tracking AI-driven referrals and KPIs. Or E, unsure early in the planning. So far, majority is for A, it looks like. Structuring product data and metadata for AI discoverability. Very interesting. All right. So our final question concerns our December 10th webinar. I'm going to be hosting that one. This is all about Black Friday, Cyber Monday recap. So in preparation for that webinar, I would love to know, how do you expect your Cyber Week or holiday sales to compare to last year? Is it going to be significantly higher than last year, significantly slightly higher than last year, about the same as last year, slightly lower than last year, or significantly lower than last year? Oh, it looks like there's like a tie between about the same or slightly lower than last year. Interesting. Okay. We're going to let this populate, and then we'll revisit this question in our December session to see how the expectations like matched reality, and we'll share key takeaways from the Cyber Week that's coming up. So thank you, Corey, for that. Robert, would you kindly bring up our panelist? Welcome.
Hello, hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me today. It's such an exciting topic, and we've got a lot of people in our audience today, so hopefully we'll get a lot of audience questions. I'd love to start this out by just giving quick introductions, if you guys wouldn't mind. Sunny, I'd like to start with you, please.
Hi. Yes. Can you hear me, guys?
Perfectly.
Yes.
Oh, cool. So we start from a self-introduction.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you very well, but
Oh,
yeah,
no.
good. It's fine. Very quickly, I'm Sunny Jiang, the CEO and the president of iBuyDirect. I've been working in this company since 2007. So my expertise is always in the digital marketing, e-commerce area. Nice to meet you guys.
Great to have you, Sunny. Anne-Marie?
Hi, everyone. I'm Anne-Marie. I am the SVP of Digital Commerce, Consumer Marketing, and Global Analytics with Michael Kors. I'm excited to be here today. Thanks for having me.
Very happy to have you. And Hamed?
Yes, I'm Hamed Orefian, co-founder and vice president of Max Aroma. Been in the business for the past 15 years and trying to make sure everybody smells amazing. And thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. And Mike, great to see you again. So I guess I just want to start from the very beginning and just get into the heart of today's question. So we talked a little bit about, how AI agents like ChatGPT and Gemini and Perplexity are starting to make these product recommendations, and they're even doing these complete transactions now for users. So how, it begs the question of do brands still need websites, or are we entering an era where discovery and purchase, both of them happen elsewhere? So my question to you guys is, how real is this shift today? Are we truly seeing shoppers hand over product discovery or even purchase decisions to AI assistants? And then as a kind of a follow-up to that is, how does this moment compare to earlier platform shifts, when Google search or Amazon marketplaces reshaped how people found and bought product? Sunny, I know that you were pretty optimistic about this. So I'm going to go to you first for the answer.
Yeah, sure. How real is it today? Yeah, I'm optimistic about it. And I think it is real about the shift toward AI-driven shopping. Everybody knows the recent partnership between OpenAI and the Shopify, and as well as the zero-click shopping, right? So they are the early signals that are telling us that in some way we are already there. So I read about something, they told us that around 20-25% of the consumers, they were comfortable to let AI guide our decisions in the shopping journey. And that was something months ago. And as we mentioned earlier, that this number can get higher and bigger day by day. And also 70 plus of the people, they want generative AI to integrate into their shopping experience. So in the business that I manage and operate in eyewear or optical online, the customers, they are increasingly requesting AI to find a product that fit their lifestyle, their budget, or the face shape, different occasional need with the long form inquiries. So I would say, it is early, right? So it's starting to be there to happen. But, the technology is also not fully ready. For example, the payment, the customer service, the post-purchase return redo, are waiting to be done maturely. But definitely the sign is already there.
Yeah, Hamed, what do you believe? I mean, I know that you're from the e-com perspective.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with Sunny, but we've been using iAdvice for the past year and a half now, and I find this a great tool for people, to have it, and then it's a great discovery tool for customers that when they land somewhere on the website and they want to look for something, learn about something, and they use the AI tool. But I don't believe it will completely replace websites, as I as I know, still just by ChatGPT or Gemini, you can still one thing that I'm 100% sure, you cannot really offer any of the promotions, gift with purchases, or anything like that. And the nicher your industry is, your website is still going to play a big part. And we've seen in the past year and a half, our traffic year to date has increased by referral from ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity by 195% to 200%. And customers use the AI bot and the tool just to research mostly, not necessarily convert them to as a final purchaser. So I would say it's helping. I would use this to make the website richer, has a lot of content, has a lot of tools. So it reduces our bounce rate, so people don't have to go everywhere else to research. But I still don't think it would completely replace it.
And Anne-Marie, I know that your thoughts were somewhat aligned with this, right?
Yes, similar to Ahmed, I would say I definitely see AI as more of a complement or an assistant to the shopping experience as opposed to the replacement. We have a shopping assistant on our website, and I think customers love to have that as a supplement. It doesn't totally replace the search and discovery experience. It really does just add to it. And I think customers are finding more and more ways to leverage AI in building confidence in their decisions, but not necessarily to decide for them.
And Mike, what's your POV just coming from the tech side of things and your clients and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is it here? Yes, but where? Right? So what we see is that AI definitely, discovery happens everywhere, and AI is taking on a lot of the discovery. And it's happening everywhere, on sites, off-site, third parties, etc. What we see now, and that's why the instant checkout's kind of really exciting for some and scary for others, is that how far will it go in terms of the full purchase? And that's where I think brands have a potential to be the trusted guide, if you will, in this whole world. So I think it's going to depend a lot on how fast a third party could actually be the trusted guide to get you all the way through to purchase, and what role brands will play, moving forward.
So just thinking about becoming that trusted guide and just like our position in the marketplace, I want to shift gears and talk a little bit about brand relevance. So like if more product discovery happens through AI recommendations, what does that brand storytelling even look like when customers may never go to the website, right? And what does the brand experience mean when your brand story is filtered through an AI assistant? I'm going to go to Anne-Marie first because I'm interested to get POV from one of the world's most recognizable luxury brands. I think that might be an interesting perspective.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we really want to build that emotional connection to the brand somewhere out there, through the many sources of marketing channels out there. And when I think about an AI assistant making a purchase on our behalf, us not even having to perhaps visit a website, in the same way, it's sort of like getting a gift. Something about that experience, you love this brand, you appreciate getting a gift from that brand. You might say to your partner and family member, like, hey, I really want this bag from Michael Kors for a gift. But at the end of the day, something out there created that emotional connection, regardless of who made the final checkout for you, whether it was you or someone else on your behalf.
Yeah. And Sunny, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, when we talk about the brand experience under the context of AI, right? What does it mean? What is the brand experience, and what would be the difference versus now in the future? So I would, say that the brand experience is going to transit from the current traditional way of the visual and the physical interactions to somewhere that is an integration between what you are doing from your product service side and AI. So it's really about a merge or combination. And then what should we do as a business, as a brand, right? So we wanted to think how to encode our brand essence, the brand mission, value, the design, the product element into the AI interpreted language. or understanding, right? So under this situation, we want to make sure that the design, the accessibility, and like the shopping experience, even the service, so like they're going to be talking about with AI, and then as a combination, it can express our essence correctly.
Hamid, I know that you kind of felt the same way about this as well too.
Yeah, as I mentioned, like I think if we just consider this as a tool that helps everyone to discover, to learn more, I think it's a great opportunity now for a lot of brands, a lot of products to bring that face, bring that interaction with customers in cameras, on the website. Just sit down, talk about it. I think people want to. We always love to have that human connection. So I think this is a great time to actually put a face behind the brand, let people know about your products, you talk to them directly. And I think that would never go away. And that storytelling and authenticity would be something that AI can never replace it. So I still, strongly believe in that.
Yeah, and as Mike said, trust is the new currency, right? So I there was a question that was posed by one of our audience members that I'd like to cite here to see if anybody wants to pick this up. But Atul Rungta, CEO of Nope Advance, says, do you think that it'll just be ChatGPT or Gemini in the future? What I'm looking at is a shift towards what we see in sci-fi movies today, where I ask AI with voice commands to suggest and buy something for my evening event or tomorrow's meeting. I'm not sure whether we'll get there in 2 years or 4, but don't you see this agentic commerce as a start and moving away from traditional AI usage?
I mean, I would guess that as opposed to it really just being like a ChatGPT or a Gemini, that there's a shared language among the AI, whether we call them agents or tools out there, that perhaps we can still get that unique AI voice that we all speak to. But perhaps it is just a shared language and shows up to us each in our own personal language as well.
Yeah, I just want to add a couple points regarding the last point about this agentic commerce as a start and moving away from the traditional AI usage. My understanding is that we are already experiencing a sort of this transition. I take my personal experience, for example. So now when I need to buy things, in the past, of course, my first intention is to open my app Amazon. I search what I need, right? And in the recent months, I first go to ChatGPT or Perplexity. I want to have some inspiration. And recently, I need to buy a bar table. The very small round table that you can make it very high, just to fit 1 to 2 people. I had no idea about the brand or the price or whatever. I went to ChatGPT. I said, I want to buy this. Can you give me some options with the most volume of the reviews and the highest scores of the review? And it gave me some options, and I don't want to bother because it's small stuff, right? So I don't think there is much risk if I just click and buy directly from there. And I already had the need. I said that, you give me some options because you already told me that they have a good reputation from the consumers, from the market. And I was ready to just click and buy. I don't want to bother to go to the website anymore. So coming back to this point, I don't know how many people are like me now, but I'm definitely personally ready, to directly make purchase from AI environment.
Yeah, the other day I was shopping for a gift for my 19-year-old on a jewelry site, and I uploaded a picture, and it made some recommendations, and it just made me think about, yes, if the question, a tool is, is it going to get away from chatting? I do think it's going to get away from chatting. It's going to embrace everything that we want as consumers to be able to shop better, right? And so it's
Yeah.
interesting to me how far is this going to go now? That's the part. It's going to go multimodal only to the extent that we use it. What's most successful. It's going to go into voice. It's going to go into pictures. It's going to go everything. So I do believe it's going to get beyond chat, and we're already seeing that today.
Yeah, I feel like it will, like I was just thinking about our business. We have a lot of the products that we sell as perfumes, fragrances. They're luxury goods that you really have to wear it on your skin to see how it reacts. And AI you cannot understand that. So maybe it will reduce the amount of time that you're going to spend with research, 20, 30 minutes on a website to make a decision. Maybe it helped businesses to be more efficient, so they're going to reduce the amount of returns on making bad decisions as a consumer. You go in and then you have to return it. But I think in industry by industry would be different. Like let's say you want to, I'm building some stuff in my house now, and I'm trying to make my basement waterproof and seal it. So I just had to go on ChatGPT and just ask, what do I need to use here? And then it give me like standard direction of this stuff by, and that's it. So that part of it on your daily needs, perfect. But when you get a little bit to a niche or luxury market that is really personal choices, I think that part, it's still, I don't see it how it can completely replace it.
Mm-hmm.
So Hamid, I'll go to the next question that I had lined up for you guys, which is, where do you expect the majority of AI assisted transactions to actually happen in the next 2 to 3 years? Is it going to be on websites, marketplaces, or inside like AI agent environments?
Sure. I think in the last 6 months, I would say, again, as I mentioned, that the ChatGPT traffic has been increasing. The referrals that we have, we are using a service that we are tracking it. I don't know how accurate it is, but we've been seeing a lot. Also, my team, all of my customer service team, product, all the team that they are creating our product pages, we all using ChatGPT, Gemini, even X AI, so Grok. So we try to have the most sufficient information when we are building it, which has been, helping a lot to increase the traffic from it. But I would say, I think the reason, we also are really focusing on the XI and user experience of customers. We're adding a lot of infographics, a lot of information, a lot of videos, and really educating buyers. So when they land on that PD page, they really look at it as one truth source of information for shoppers that makes that decision and experience pretty easy and quick. So, yeah.
Mike, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that where the purchase is going to be, I have a view that a lot of it will happen on a trusted brand store. So that's a perspective that I have. But more and more folks, more and more people will buy, and I think brands should celebrate. If somebody checks out and buys your product through ChatGPT, you celebrate that. It's an additional channel. So I do think it's kind of part of the poll today. It's like there's a shared, start thinking about shared destinations together. I think the opportunities to think about AI as a new channel, for the brands. And how do you build trust in those channels? I do think that you start with your own site, your own store, and really figure out what's going to be needed to build that confidence. And that's going to help you leverage other channels later.
I have a follow-up question, and then I'm going to go to another audience question, just about, how can brands maintain ownership of the customer experience when the digital storefront may disappear? Anne-Marie, I'll go to you first for that one.
Sure. So it's, at the end of the day, it is another storefront. So in the same way we think about We originally had stores. We had our digital storefront. That was our own channel. We have these other marketing channels that you can make a purchase through, whether it's Instagram or TikTok. It is another experience, and just making sure that we're staying close to what is that, how do we show up within that channel? How do we maintain the consistency there? Showing up with our brand aligned to our brand message, and then also just thinking about how do we show up wherever the customer wants to show up. So, we're thinking of it today as the ChatGPT, but whatever new channel AI brings to us, or new experience of checkout, how do we show up where the customer is in a seamless, frictionless way aligned with our brand?
And Sunny, I know you had some thoughts around this too.
Yeah, that's true. What we observed in the past half a year or so is that I think this information echoes with one of the pages from Mike during the presentation. So we have been measuring, the sources of data and the users from the AI platforms. And 6 months ago, it was 0.0 something. And then in October, that was about 1%, which is exactly aligned with what Mike saw. That is our situation as well. But on the other hand, we are, we are observing a disappearance, like a lot of organic search traffic and clicks are disappearing. We were wondering, they go where? Now the business don't have them. We don't have them anymore. So really under this situation is challenging, right? Because a lot of touch points are not happening anymore on our platform with our asset. We needed to, in the past, we only need to serve the audience, the customers, right? That was simple. Now we have to make both our customers and AI happy and satisfied. We need to serve two biggest clients, I would say. How to do that? It requires us to be technical and commercial as well. But also, if we are result driven, we look at the results, and then, we need to shift our mindset to look at the KPIs separately or differently, which means that maybe, when we analyze, when we understand the source of data resources from the AI platforms, how about the sentiment, right? How about the engagement and the conversion uplift, even the repeat interactions? So such things, we have to keep them more and more in mind. So in order to, in order to let them guide us to make decisions regarding the action plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just building on that a second. It's interesting, Sunny, you talk about there was something really nice about the search and click paradigm, right? People would search, and then there's going to be 7 or 8 links, and people will visit your site as one of those links, and there's all that traffic. But when people say shop for me, it's kind of like, tell me what to do. They're no longer, or less and less people, or fewer and fewer people are clicking on all those links, a lot less traffic. So yeah, you're right. What we see is people wanting to, how do we participate in that? And then now taking a hard look at your own experience and saying, if I've got 2% conversion, and people are choosing to shop for me, how do I leverage that to kind of yield more from my asset, from my experience? So it's kind of that dual thing that I thought I just mentioned. It's pretty definitely something we see everywhere.
Ahmed, when we spoke on the prep call, you mentioned that I thought you made a really good point about how it gives insight into what the questions that people have that they can't find an answer to, and that's part of like the brand building and understanding how to build it up for audiences. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I'm using iAdvise, and I was actually just looking at our number. We had maybe about 72,000 conversations since the beginning of the year, with and then about 90% of CSAT, which is pretty good. But it helped us. It's been helping me and my team that we go in. We say, well, what questions a lot of customers are asking us that we cannot, that the bot couldn't answer, but these are the most common questions. So then it gives us a great chance to start creating content about it. either through Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or even blogs, or even emails or anything. So which, is helping us not to just, have that experience on the website, but connect with customers right away. This is your questions. This is what you wanted. And, we have an answer for you. And, going back to analyzing all of our data, as Sunny was speaking, we see that sometimes it takes about 8 to 10 touch points. People go on Instagram, YouTube, email, website, and then it takes them all these time to convert. So even if we say that platform or the experience on the website, if it disappears, still you have all these other platforms to be strong and be there, and people can still come back to you if you have the correct answer.
I'm going to go now to the audience question. This is from Gokhan Dursel. He is a CX architect at Cow USA. How are we going to ensure compliance with the EU AI Act, GDPR, and emerging AI disclosure laws, which most likely one of the reasons behind 51% not using it yet? Does anyone want to take that one?
I guess I could start. I know that every company here has something to add, but I do think you need to go back to kind of good GDPR type practices or compliance type practices, like privacy by design, making sure that you've got kind of looking at your data storage, having good supplier and partner controls. So the ways that we comply with privacy compliance laws must apply here. And of course, if you're working with a vendor, then you want to make sure that there's certifications and verification. So I think it does still hold, the practices that we were doing before, because we're, in e-commerce, we're always interacting with the consumer data. So the same practices that we had before get even more important now. But I do think, to this question, the trust topic has something is more than regulation. I think there's going to be some experience that has to happen, and that's where I do think that, and people have to get more and more comfortable with, say, providing their credit card information to OpenAI, and that's where I think brands have a big advantage. So there is a lot more trust with brands today. So you do have a opportunity as a brand to establish that trust. And I do believe that 51% will move over faster towards brands than they are, to third parties.
Yeah, I like this question and the comments from Mike, because, under AI, we are talking more and more about trust. Where is trust from, right? So like from the business standpoint, we have to be compliant. I know it's a little early to talk about compliance because there are so many uncertainties. There are all type of guesses, discussions in the forums online, etc. I've been reading so much. But still, we have to be aware that it is coming. We need to, if we want a good level of trust and credibility for the brand, for the business, we need to do a good job about compliance. That is no doubt. Then how to do it? So we are going to build the compliance into our AI stack from the start. If you have a good condition, right? Like companies like what I do, we have a solid foundation for everything because we've been in the industry for so many years. That's going to be a little complicated. But I say, for a new startup, when I have a friend who recently, because he's so fascinated about AI and he's very actively setting up our e-commerce company to fully leverage AI. For such companies, my suggestion is that from the step 1, even step 0, you already think about a 360 solution for AI, and then you include compliance into your design in a journey for everything you can. And that means that you have to classify all AI use cases under, as we said, the EU AI Act or any GDPR standards, so that data can minimize the risk for us, rather than we find a risk at a later stage and then we have to go back to fix that's going to be more complicated.
Does anybody else want to ladder in before I go into the next audience question?
No.
We'll let the AI do it. We'll let the AI.
I think, it's something very new that we still have to wait to see where this is going, and the regulations comes with it. So yeah.
So I'm going to go to another question from Atul. As of now, we see product suggestions, cards, and search results, for example, Google search, but then we see the website URL or the brand selling it, and then we decide that it's original, not somebody selling a duplicate copy. If we buy using ChatGPT, how would I know it's authentic once OpenAI opens registration for everyone? Do you think the registration process will handle authenticity of what products are available through ChatGPT?
Sorry, Hamed, maybe you first. I thought you were thinking.
Yeah. So I think this is something that we really have to rely on companies like ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity. Like they should be the responsible party, that they verify the retailers or sellers, like what Amazon is doing, what eBay is doing. Or TikTok, before you can sell. Maybe in the beginning when they started, there was no verification method, but now they have one of the most restriction. Like the restriction is pretty high. You can't just go and just sign up again and sell. So they should have a system like that. They should verify the sellers in order to stop anyone selling duplicates, fakes, or anything like that.
I think earlier, Sunny brought up the topic of trust. In the same way that customers build trust with or develop trust, and a brand builds trust with their customer, the LLMs out there will have to do that same exercise of building trust with the customers, so customers can feel more confident in their purchase and where the purchase is coming from.
Yeah, I think there are two parts for this, right? One is about, the AI platforms, they will take their responsibility when they select the partners. I heard that ChatGPT, Google, they already have such a long list, waiting list, of the vendors or brands like us who want to work with them. You cannot imagine, how busy they are already. So they will do their job, right? Like they have their selection criteria, etc. But another part is from the market or the consumer perspective. I think I see it as a positive thing, because once this ecosystem gets mature, gets to a later stage, then there are going to be many, many options, right, from the AI system, from the environment. And when the consumers, they have more than one, more than two selections or options, they have the freedom to choose. They can totally use their brain to judge. Oh, this is good with good credibility, reputation, and they also connect with their personalized need, right? So I think we are going to experience both of the evolution. One is the AI platform, their own job. Another is the consumers' mindset shift and their approaches. Their approaches are going to be different.
Yeah, if it's going from a battle for click-throughs to a battle for guidance, then trust is a big part of it, and everybody's gonna. Your success is going to be based on what your brand, your ChatGPT, trying to go down this path. So that's the main thing.
I'm going to take another audience question from Liesl Walsh, fractional e-commerce leader, freelance advisor, Commerce Next advisory board member. Does anyone have any learnings on the difference between how people use on-site search versus the bot helper on the site? For example, number of words used, conversions, kinds of questions, place in the funnel, etc. Is there a role for both?
So I would say from having a shopping assistant versus a search, I think it does drive more conversion because customers are able to engage longer. So it's more of a conversation versus a one-word output. But at the same time, I don't think it necessarily replaces the other. I think there's still customers who want to use a search, know exactly what they want, and just want to be able to, quickly get to what they're looking for with one word versus customers who are perhaps looking for engagement. And I think one day they might become simultaneous, but I think how a customer searches, there'll still be both forms of whether you want a full-blown conversation versus being able to specifically call out what you want.
Anybody else have thoughts?
Yeah, we've actually seen since using the AI bots, I've seen about 30% drop in our people using our search bar. Also, our search bar now that I know it's not the smartest because people really have a big conversation in the search bar is now really returning any results. So we are now looking for a better search bar that we can use, but you also have two different type of customers, people that know what they want, so they just come in, put one keyword and they get it and they shop and go. And then now you have a different type of people or consumers that they come in and they're here to research. And that's why the chatbot is the best tool to use. So I think you should have a combination of both, and these two tools should work together. And if you can have a system that they work together, then it's gold.
Yeah, we see that too. We see that there's you want to meet the customers where they are, right? Having said that, we see what Hamed sees, which is search is going down, on a site for many reasons. It could also be because they found the answer already through ChatGPT, but search is going down. And what we see is a big difference in conversion. So it also has to do with intent. So there's high intent and high conversion. But I think search for the foreseeable future is there. And what we just have to be thinking about is search is actually part of a system. It's search, and then it's, search listing page, it's filters, it's a product grid. It's something that people are used to. And at what point do people start trying, just find me a gift for my daughter, And so there's going to be experimentation on both sides. And I think what we see is the AI driven experience is winning, but of course it's still kind of picking up more and more share, of the total number of customer journeys.
Mindful of the time, I want to ask one of the questions that we talked about on our prep call, getting back to talking about, and we touched on this a little bit throughout the conversation, but how do we build for both humans and machines, right? We have these e-commerce teams, and they used to design for human shoppers, and they optimized for search engines, and now we might be optimizing for these AI agents. So what does this look like in practice? I'll start with Mike. I know you had some thoughts around this.
Yeah, I mean, so I think about this question a lot, right? And so where I am today is really, we're really thinking about building for humans all the time, the human shopper. So there is a difference between a human shopper that is thinking about, at different stages of their buying journey. And we have to be thinking about optimizing for that, especially we think, with our own AI experiences. There's also a human being that's going to delegate. And I think what we have to just add there is, how do we work with the bits and bytes, the mechanisms to be really good working with the AI shopping assistants, general AI shopping assistants that might be working on behalf of the consumer. So I do think that if you're working on convenience, if you're working on providing confidence to the consumer, helping drive that to a conversion, that you're essentially going to be helping sell through ChatGPT, if you will, and also sell more through your own store.
And Marie, I know you talked a little bit about building a content supply chain.
Yes. So I think with any new marketing channel, you need content that can serve that channel. So in this case, that resonates with both the the AI, but at the end of the day, the customer, how the customer shows up in that channel. And therefore, just needing more content and having an optimized content supply chain so we can react to the type of content that resonates there. And perhaps it ends up being more editorial content as opposed to creative assets or something like that, based on what that channel is using to make decisions and gather data.
And Hamed, your response was around kind of like the shared responsibilities between humans and AI. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I think I believe for a lot of everyday routine tasks that being handled by human, that can be full on handled by AI and two AIs. They just talk to each other. One can be a customer assistant AI that, where is my package? Do you guys ship here? So then it handles all the basics of it. So also you don't have to put more resources as customer service team to on these basic things, and free humans to do much more complex stacks, more nuance, and add more interactions with really customers to understand what these products are about. So I think if it gets to that point and we can be more efficient, it's lovely, it's great, and I've seen it already. It's helping a lot. Like we as our customer service team, with those repeated questions, has dropped by 40-50% in the past year and a half. And I think every generation of people also deal differently with these tools. The younger you are and these systems, the AI, you're probably gonna hand over most of it to them. And then you still have a lot of people that they're older, so they still want that human interaction. So you need people to still pick up the call, talk to them, and take care of them.
Sunny, you were interested in answering this from the perspective of discovery optimization as we transition from traditional SEO. Are you guys already at iBuyDirect's? Are you optimizing iBuyDirect's product data or imagery for AI discoverability?
Yeah, absolutely. We had no choice. As mentioned, the traditional organic search used to play such a big role in the business performance. But starting, like a recent 1 year or so, it's dropping, and we were very confused. We talked to multiple partners trying to understand what's going on, what happened. And we got the perception that it is not us who is experiencing that. It is a very common phenomenon that, like SEO is dropping in clicks sessions, but the impressions are still good. It means that people are still searching. They still have demand. But after they expressed their demand in the platforms, they go somewhere else versus, like the Google search organic results as before. So really, like what do we do about that? As we said, it's not only one company's issue or situation. Literally yesterday, together with our SEO team, we developed 120 prompts. All these 120 prompts, they are focusing on keywords, categories. Keywords means the keywords strengths. If it's like for intention, awareness, or it is for purchase. So we give them a score from 1 to 3, depending on the funnel. And also we categorize them into the different areas, such as awareness, consideration, purchase, etc. And we prioritize them. So this is starting with, as we said, understanding from the existing AI platforms, where are we already gaining some eyeballs? And then after the analysis, we said we have 120 prompts. We have to optimize. We need to take actions because we believe on the potential. Now maybe it's only 1%, as mentioned, but maybe in 2 years, 3 years, it's going to be 10%. We don't know, right? So that's why, this is only one of the things that we are doing. So we need a consolidation or combination of both. One is that the majority of the value is still from Google. Google is still super big, like they're the stakeholder to deliver value. But on the other hand, a lot, the evolution is already happening. So we have to be diligent for both of the work. And then, we combine the effort for them in order to understand what type of actions would be the most effective for the business.
Thank you guys so much. I didn't even get to my last question, and we had a couple of audience questions, but it's just such an interesting topic. So thank you guys for weighing in on this. This is our Commerce Next Steps for the conversation. Basically, it's build trust through a unified brand presence, ensure your messaging, storytelling, and product guidance are consistent across AI platforms, social media, and your own site. Strengthen data and digital infrastructure for AI discovery. You want to design for both humans and AI agents, and then, of course, measure, learn, and iterate continuously. Thank you, Sunny, and Marie, Mike, Hamed. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to the audience for joining us today. I really appreciate your time, and we'll have to continue the conversation because there's so much still to happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.